From Royal Communications Incorporated, good morning and welcome to King's Newsroom, the 45 minutes news presentation about Liberia, Africa, and the rest of the world. Today is Tuesday, May 27, 2025, and I'm Newton Tukba presenting. Stories following this morning. Rights Chairperson accuses Chief Justice Siana Yo of undermining access to justice across the country. Councillor Dempster Brown says Justice Yo's withdrawal of public defenders from various magisterial courts has increased lawlessness. Former Monrovia City Mayor and Secretary General of the CDC challenges Senator Ibrahim Daras Dillon to prove his academic qualifications. Jefferson Koji calls for immediate investigation, says Dillon's academic credentials lack transparency and accountability. Minister of Justice alarm over overcrowdedness of prison facilities. Across Liberia, Assistant Minister for Bureau of Corrections and Rehabilitation, Gabriel Nupela, describes the situation as serious health and safety threat to inmates. Away from Liberia, Uganda's military has announced the suspension of all military cooperation with Germany after accusing its ambassador Matthias Schirel of being involved in subversive activities and of being wholly unqualified to be in the East African state. These plus many more, our news bulletin, our international developments are all packaged. We'll take a very short break. To be right back. Welcome back, and let's have the news bulletin. The chairperson of the Independent National Commission on Human Rights has questioned Chief Justice Siana Yo's decision to withdraw 46 public defenders from various magisterial courts in the country. Councillor Dempster Brown said that Justice Yo's action to end public defenders' legal service for poor people has seriously hindered access to justice, as such lawlessness has increased, especially in rural areas. Councillor Brandt revealed that INCHR monitors reports show that Nimba County have the highest violation of human rights record, followed by Bomi County, claiming that people were taking the law into their hands due to the absence of public defenders in magisterial courts. And further said the public defenders are regarded as poor men lawyers and wants the priest of the High Court to consider her decision of public defenders at various magisterial courts in Liberia. The INCHR chairperson made a statement Monday when Pan International donated 2 motorbikes to his institution to enhance the work of the INCHR monitors across the country. Former Monrovia City Mayor and Secretary General of the Coalition for Democratic Change, Jefferson Koji, has called for a formal investigation into the academic qualifications of Monrovia County Senator Abraham Daras Dillon. Senator Dillon, who has consistently betrayed or portrayed himself as the moral light in the Liberian politics, is likely to be put under public scrutiny following claims made by the former ruling CDC Secretary General. According to Kochi, Dillon's academic credential does not align with the standards he preaches regarding transparency, reform, and integrity. In social media posts, the CDC Secretary General challenged the consistency of Dillon's self-image, further questioning whether a public servant who has positioned himself as a beacon of accountability can do so without meeting the basic educational benchmarks expected of national leaders. He added that the controversy surrounding Senator Dillon's academic history is not merely a private matter, noting that as a long-standing political actor who has spent nearly 3 decades in government circles, Dillon's lack of completed university education is a public concern that must be taken seriously. Koji criticized what he described as discontent between Dillon's public image and his educational achievements, and further argued that in modern democracies, academic qualification should not be taken lightly. Kojit called on all public institutions to begin holding all public officials, regardless of political affiliation, to the higher standard of educational accountability. The Assistant Minister at the Ministry of Justice, Bureau of Corrections and Rehabilitations, Gabriel Nopella, has expressed deep concern over the growing issue of overcrowded prison facilities across the country. He assessed that the situation poses a serious threat to the health and safety of inmates. Minister Gabriel Nopella emphasized urgent need for expanding existing prison infrastructure to accommodate the increasing inmate population. Meanwhile, Minister Nopella disclosed that the Ministry of Justice, in collaboration with the United Nations Development Programme, launched a 3-day training section in Banga, Brown County. He noted that the initiative aims to enhance the capacity of 45 correctional officers and 45 probation officers from various regions to address the challenges posed by overcrowded prisons. The Assistant Minister for Rehabilitation at the Ministry of Justice, Bureau of Corrections and Rehabilitation further that the training will further strengthen the skills of personnel at the Ministry of Justice to enable them play a pivotal role in mitigating the problem of overcrowding, and also reiterated the ministry's commitment to working with international partners to construct and rehabilitate correctional facilities across the country. Speaking during the training section Monday in Banga, Brown County, Minister Nopella attributed the overcrowding to a sharp rise in crime rates nationwide. The Mana River Youth Parliament, Liberia's chapter, has endorsed Liberia's United Nations Security Council bid ahead of the June 10 elections at the upcoming 79th section of the United Nations General Assembly in New York City. The elections are for 5 non-permanent seats on the UN Security Council for 2-year mandates commencing on 1st January 2026. In accordance with the Security Council's rotation rules, and non-permanent UNCSCs rotate among the various regional blocks. Liberia, on February 10, 2025, launched her bid for the non-permanent seat. Meanwhile, the move by the country to secure the seat at the United Nations Security Council has been endorsed by a cross-section of Liberian citizens, including the House of Representatives, student groupings, and civil society organizations, with the Mana River Youth Parliament being the latest. Reading the MROYP Liberia chapter's endorsement statement Monday in Monrovia, the institution's Speaker Daniel Naman Niels said unique post-war experience and steadfast commitment and regional stability qualifies Liberia to a non-permanent seat at the United Nations Security Council. According to him, Liberia has an understanding of the complexities of peace building, noting that securing a seat at the United Nations Security Council would enhance the advocacy for peace and a crucial role of youth in resolution. Magui County District 3 Representative Eleanor Torres will this Tuesday, May 27, be sworn in as chairperson of the Women's Legislative hopes our officers to steer the affairs of the caucus for the next 3 years. The WLCL was formed in 2006 by female lawmakers of the 52nd National Legislature to define and promote a unified agenda for women across political, religious, and ethnic divides. The caucus seeks to amplify the voices of Liberian women on critical national issues, champion gender-sensitive legislation, and advocate for women's empowerment and participation in all sectors of society. The 55th National Legislature is currently comprised of 11 female lawmakers, 8 representatives, and 3 senators who are committed to work through the Women Legislative Caucus of Liberia to mainstream gender perspectives in legislation, budgets, and national policies. Representative Ellen Atore succeeds Senator Yombly Kanga Lawrence, President pro tempore of the Liberal Senate, who will formally turn over authority to the new chairperson. The induction ceremony will be graced by House Speaker Richard Cohn, who will serve as President. Jeremiah Cohn will serve as special guest of legislature. Mrs. Comfort Lamptey, country representative at the United Nations Women Liberia, the Minister of Gender, members of the Association of Female Lawyers of Liberia, Fijad Wangoso, and several representatives of women-focused organizations and civil society groups. A group under the banner Pan-African Forces of Orders for Africa, the Assistant Minister for Administration and Public Safety at the Ministry of Justice, Edric Noah, of masterminding the denial of their permit on ground that their flyers contained the photo of Burkina Faso military leader Captain Ibrahim Traoré. According to the group's chairperson, Emmanuel Sankara Kpan, this year's Pan-African Day is marked with a public outcry due to the violation of their constitutional right to peacefully march. Kpan claimed that the organization requirements, but Anthony Noah cited political and national security concerns as the reason for their denial, and further condemned the decision as an attack on civil liberties, saying Anthony Noah has positioned himself against the principles of African unity and Pan-Africanism. The Pan-African Forces for Africa's Liberation had emphasized that his organization's admiration for Traoré stems from his efforts to use Burkina Faso natural resources to improve the lives of his citizens. Pan-African Day is observed annually on May 25th across the country. Unity, diversity, it also serves as a time for reflection on the ongoing social, economic, and political challenges facing the continent. A devastating fire on Monday destroyed several homes in Simport Bridge community on Bushrow Island, leaving residents in shock. According to eyewitness accounts and preliminary investigations, the blaze began when a young girl attempted to cook using a local fire starting device, commonly known as a magic lighter. The ignition of the device reportedly caused the gasoline fumes to combust, triggering powerful explosion and rapidly engulfing nearby structures in flames. Residents made frantic efforts to extinguish the fire while calling for emergency assistance. No fatalities have been reported, but several individuals have sustained minor injuries and were transported to nearby clinics for treatment. Authorities have launched a formal investigation into the incident and are urging the public to avoid the improper storage of gasoline and other inflammable substance in residential areas. A civil society group under the banner Youth Crime Watch Liberia has launched a massive campaign for menstrual hygiene for school-going girls across the country. Speaking at the one-day fundraising rally, an official launching of the menstrual hygiene held at the ministerial complex in Concotown, Youth Crime Watch Liberia Executive Director Massa Flomo reaffirmed her organization's commitment to supporting school-going girls' menstrual hygiene. According to Flowmode, our organization will collaborate with other civil society organizations to champion this year's Menstrual Hygiene Day in Liberia. The YCWO Executive Director highlighted critical research indicating a widespread lack of full awareness regarding menstrual hygiene among school-going girls. She added that research shows that many young girls are not fully aware of menstrual hygiene practices, underscoring the urgency of the matter. Furthermore, in her remarks, Madam Ladin called on international partners, non-governmental organizations to support menstrual hygiene activities in Liberia. Former Cultural Ambassador Julie Indy has provided updates on Liberia World Expo 2025 following her participation in the World Expo 2025 in Osaka, Japan. She said for the last 1 month, Liberia has made significant strides, attracting over 800,000 visitors who have expressed explicit admiration for Liberia's cultural diversity. Ambassador Andy indicated that her team had the opportunity to showcase Liberia's potential in the tourism sector, clarified the existing opportunity provided by natural endowment, which covers the mining, forestry, agricultural, and fisheries sectors. She further noted that their representation also highlighted trade and commerce, emphasizing the need for more investments to revive the country's economy for the benefit of all Liberians. The former cultural ambassador emphasized the need for women's participation in national decision making, noting that Liberia will co host a women's forum which will focus on elevating the voices of women and will bring together schools of women from Japan and other parts of the world. A retired major of the Armed Forces of Liberia has stressed the need to put AFL veterans to work by engaging them in a variety of activities. Anthony Jackson Molu said the National Bureau of Veteran Affairs needs necessary support in order to buttress the vision of the government in the areas of agriculture and reconstruction. Speaking in an interview, Major Mulu, who is now a state prosecutor, said the retired army are still professionals whose skills can be used in existing or assisting in many community and government projects. Modi at the same time encouraged retired soldiers to remain loyal to the Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces of Liberia, President Joseph Boakai, in uplifting the lives of Liberians. And the representative of District 3 in Montserrat County has expressed the inability of the superintendent of Montserrat County to give account on the usage of 77,000 United States dollars paid by Firestone as Social Development Fund. Representative Sumo Mobile claimed that when Firestone Rubber Company released the fund to the Ministry of Finance and Development Planning, it was agreed by stakeholders that the fund in question be used for the construction of a youth rehabilitation center in Bento. Speaking in an interview with the station, Representative Mobile maintained that in recent days, he has received information that the superintendent has decided to purchase a bus purposely to be transporting employees of Bento. But to his surprise, he has not seen any bus being purchased, nor has seen any bidding process for the procurement of the bus. What if you just joining us? A reminder you listen to the King's News Burner 45 minutes news presentation about Liberia, Africa, and the rest of the world. Today is Tuesday, May 27, 2025, and I'm Newton Tukwa presenting. Stories we following this morning. Independent National Commission on Human Rights chairperson accuses Chief Justice Sienna Yo of undermining access to justice across the country. Councillor Dempster Brown says Justice Yo's withdrawal of public defenders from various magisterial courts has increased lawlessness. Former Monrovia City Mayor and Secretary General of the CDC challenges Senator Abraham Darius Dillon to prove his academic qualifications. Jefferson Kojit calls for immediate investigation, says Dillon's academic credentials lack transparency and accountability. Minister of Justice alarms over crowdedness of prison facilities across Liberia. Assistant Minister for Bureau of Corrections and Rehabilitation, Gabriel Nupella, describes the situation as serious health and safety threat to inmates. Away from Liberia, Uganda's army has announced the suspension of all military cooperation with Germany after accusing its ambassador, Matthias Schirrer, of being involved in subversive activities, of being wholly unqualified to be in the East African state. These are stories we're following here this morning on King's News. But we'll take another short break. When we come back, we'll bring you the voices of the newsmakers. Thanks for rejoining us and welcome back. The chairperson of the Independent National Commission on Human Rights has questioned Chief Justice Siana Yo's decision to withdraw 46 public defenders from various magisterial courts in the country. Councillor Dempster Brown said that Justice Yo's action to end public defenders' legal service for poor people has seriously hindered access to justice as such lawlessness has increased, especially in the rural areas. Councillor Brown revealed the INCHR Monitors report showed that Nima County have the highest violation of human rights record, following Bomi County claiming that people were taking the law into their hand due to the absence of public defenders in magisterial courts.
We realize that the human rights violation is getting at the highest pitch, and our monitors on the field have to send a report, and then we will advise the government as to what to do. It is our responsibility. Now, Nimba County in recent time have the highest violation of human rights, killing of people. Sometimes in the day you see people laying down in the street, raping people's daughters, then bombing also. And so the motorcycles that have been brought to us will enhance our operation by monitoring, because this government has a greater tax to play to protect the rights of the citizen. And protecting the rights of the citizen, we have to give information to the government, tell the government as to what is happening, because we notice people take the law in their own hands, because violation of the rights of the citizen comes from twofold. One, we notice that the Supreme Court have withdrawn all of the public defenders from the magistrate courts in the field county. As a result, there is no poor man lawyer to represent the poor people. The magistrate can be prosecutor and public defender and magistrate. So all of these things that our monitors are putting to us, we have to inform the government, and we'll use this occasion to inform the government that things are getting out of hand. In recent times, we heard about mob violence. Mob violence is generated from no public defender or city solicitor that will be in the magistrate court to prosecute those that commit crime. As a result, people take the law in their own hand. They say, well, we can't go to court. We catch them and we kill him. In recent time, right to Wiala, a gentleman, they say he stole G driver that was $400. The YouTuber do plan and kill him, beat him until the boss is breaking. We went to the police station at Mangiri, and the police told us, so things are getting out of hand. Then the president instructed the Minister of Justice to make sure that things are correct. That is, city solicitors must be at the court. Public defenders, the Supreme Court must make sure to return the work back to the magistrate court, so the access to justice will work.
He's the chairperson of the Independent National Commission on Human Rights, Councillor Dempster Brown, is speaking. The Assistant Minister at the Ministry of Justice, Bureau of Corrections and Rehabilitations, Gabriel Nopella, has expressed deep concern over the growing issue of overcrowded prison facilities across the country. He asserted that the situation poses a serious threat to the health and safety of inmates. Mr. Gabriel Nopella emphasized urgent need to expand existing prison infrastructure to accommodate the increasing inmate population.
Pretrial detention is everybody's business. It works if everybody plays his or her part. Our part as correction is to make sure we do a monthly list of people from the various courts. The law in Liberia provides that for magistrate court, there should be 1 month to have an issue trial. So we are responsible to make a list, give it to the public defender, give it to the county attorney, give it to the The quote that somebody is from Maestro quote, he has been here, someone say he stole their chicken and we can't keep him beyond because the law says track is in 1 month. If the person comes from the Sake code, we are responsible to make the list and furnish the county attorney office. I told this man is accused of rape, but he's been here 2 years and no trial. We have the public defenders responsible to go to court. If government lawyers are not ready to go to court, you go and file motion to dismiss for failure to proceed. County attorney is responsible to draw indictment if it comes from the circuit court or to instruct the city solicitor if it comes from the magistrate court to do assignment. The judge or the magistrates are responsible to hear these cases. I think it's happening, but it's not as it is supposed to be. So this is why we make these periodic training schedules to remind ourselves that we need to do more. If we do it, pre-trial detention will be an achievable issue. Thank you. That is not an issue for Banga Central Prison alone. It's across Liberia, except for the National Palace as well and Harper Central Prison that has not reached her capacity. Crime is a factor of population. When the facility was built in Banga, the facility was intended for 129 to be corrected. Over time, we did not expect that the population of Broom County will grow astronomically. So all we can do is while we mobilize support to expand these prison facilities, we should push the various actors to do their job. If you take someone complain to court, the person is in jail and you're not serious, you're in a community celebrating because the man is in jail, we should tell the public defender to file a motion to dismiss the proceeding. These are the things we are challenging ourselves to do, and that will help to address pre-trial detention.
Meanwhile, Minister Nopela disclosed that the Ministry of Justice, in collaboration with the United Nations Development Programme, launched a 3-day training section in Banga, Broom County. He noted that the initiative aims to enhance the capacity of 45 correctional officers and 45 probation officers from various regions to address the challenges posed by the overcrowded prisons. The Assistant Minister for Rehabilitation at the Ministry of Justice, Bureau of Corrections and Rehabilitations, further that the training will further strengthen the skills of personnel of the Ministry of Justice to enable them to play a pivotal role in mitigating the problem of overcrowding.
My mission is to join UNDP Liberia to ensure that we train 45 correction officers from 16 prison facilities and 45 probation officers from 7 operational counties in enhancing their skills on the work they do in their various assignment areas. So we will look at middle level supervisors who we have in charge to take care of staff inmates on topics that enhance their ability to deliver. Issues on the organizational structure of the Bureau, work ethics, code of conduct, human rights of inmates, and report writing. So these are few of the important things we look at during the period of 3 days, today, Tuesday, and Wednesday. And on Thursday, Friday, we challenge our probation officers in the writings of pre-sentence investigative report. How do they go in the communities to take information from a person accused before court but about to be sentenced? Because the court needs that information to know whether the person is at high risk or whether the person is a first-time offender or whether the person is a recidivist, meaning a repeated offender. These are the things we'll be doing for the week-long period.
He's Assistant Minister at the Ministry of Justice, Bureau of Corrections and Rehabilitations, Gabriel Nopela. They are speaking. The Mano River Youth Parliament Liberia's chapter has endorsed Liberia's United Nations Security Council base ahead of June 10th elections at the upcoming 79th section of the United Nations General Assembly in New York City. The elections eyed for 5 non-permanent seats on the United Nations Security Council for 2-year mandates commencing on 1st January 2026. In accordance with the Security Council's rotation rules, the non-permanent UNCSCs rotate among the various regional blocs. Liberia, on February 10th, 2025, launched her bid for non-permanent seat. Meanwhile, the move by the country to secure a seat at the United Nations Security Council has been endorsed by a cross-section of Liberian citizens, including the House of Representatives, student groupings, civil society organizations, with the Manarival Union Parliament being the latest.
The Honorable Union Youth Parliament formally endorses Liberia's bid for a non-permanent seat on the United Nations Security Council. The MRURP believes that Liberia's unique post-war experience and steadfast commitment to peace and regional stability makes it an ideal candidate to contribute meaningfully to global peace and security discussion. Honorable Union Youth Parliament believes that Liberia has demonstrated remarkable resilience and a deep understanding of the complexities of peace building, and that its voice on the Security Council could be invaluable in preventive diplomacy, including peace processes and the crucial role of youth in conflict resolution globally. Furthermore, the MRURPLC is pleased to provide an update on the Youth Promotions Initiative, an ongoing effort geared towards promoting peace through digital literacy. This initiative continues to equip young Liberians with essential digital skills, empowering them to become informed and responsible digital citizens, and enabling them to utilize technology as a tool for peace advocacy, constructive dialogue, and sustainable development within their community.
He's the Speaker of the Mana River Youth Parliament, Daniel Namat News. They're speaking. What if you just joining us with the time half past the hour? A reminder you're listening to King's News, a 45 minutes news presentation about Liberia, Africa, and the rest of the world. Stories we followed here this morning. Independent National Commission on Human Rights chairperson accuses Chief Justice Yana Yu of undermining access to justice across the country. Councillor Dempster Brown says Justice Yu's withdrawal of public defenders from various magisterial courts has increased lawlessness. Former Monrovia City Mayor and Secretary General of the CDC challenges Senator Abraham Darius Dillon to prove his academic qualifications. Jefferson cogit calls for the immediate investigation, says Dillon's academic credentials lack transparency and accountability. Minister of Justice alarm over overcrowdedness of prison facilities across the country. Assistant Minister for Bureau of Corrections and Rehabilitations, Gabriel Nupela, describes the situation as serious health and safety threat to inmates. And away from Liberia, Uganda's army has announced the suspension of all military cooperation with Germany after accusing its ambassador Matthias Schurer of being involved in subversive activities and of being wholly unqualified to be in that East African state. We'll take another break. We'll come back. We continue with more developments. A group under the banner Pan-African Forces for Africa's Liberation has accused the Assistant Minister for Administration and Public Safety and the Minister of Justice, Edric Noah, of masterminding the denial of their permit on ground that their flyer contained a photo of Burkina Faso military leader, Captain Ibrahim Traoré. According to the group's chairperson, Emmanuel Sankara Khan, this year's Pan-African Day is marked with a public outcry due to the violation of their constitutional right to peacefully march on the streets of Monrovia. Ban claimed that the organization submitted its request more than a week in advance in accordance with constitutional requirements, but Anthony Noah cited political and national security concerns as the reason for their denial, and further condemned the decision as an attack on civil liberties, saying Anthony Noah has positioned himself against the principles of African unity and Pan-Africanism.
And that is the reason why we are here to give our position. The press, I want to say thanks, Progressive Press. The Pan-African Forces for African Liberation, FAFA, unequivocally condemns with profound indignation and unresolved disdain the deliberate and egregious decision by the government of Liberia through the Ministry of Justice, specifically The Executive Minister for Administration and Police Safety, Anthony Hendrick F. Noah, to deny our permit for a peaceful unity walk in Monrovia today, May 24, 2025. This unity walk was intended to honor and acknowledge the essence of a progressive movement recognizing leaders like Thomas Asodori Noah Sankara, Kwame Nkrumah, Patrice Lumumba of Congo, the one you call Dr. Congo, Ibrahim Traore, etc., whose ideology continues to inspire young people across Africa. People of Africa, progressive students and brothers, we were denied permit on the basis that we have Captain Ibrahim Traore's photo on our flyer, even though the government of Liberia is lobbying with Burkina Faso and other African countries for UN security permanent seat. We want to inform you that Anthony Edric F. Noah is a certified enemy. Enemy of African unity.
Reactionary tendency. Reactionary tendency. Anthony Noah. Anthony Noah. Yo.
The Executive Minister for Administration and Police Safety at the level of the Minister of Justice is a certified.
He is the chairman of the group under the banner Pan-African Forces for Africa's Liberation, Emmanuel Sankara. Bam, they're speaking. A devastating fire on Monday destroyed several homes in the St. Paul Bridge community on Bush Road Island, leaving residents in shock. According to eyewitness accounts and preliminary investigations, the blaze began when a young girl attempted to cook using a local fire-starting device, commonly known as a magic lighter. The ignition of the device reportedly caused the gasoline fumes to combust, triggering a powerful explosion and rapidly engulfing nearby structures in flames. Residents made frantic efforts to extinguish the fire while calling for emergency assistance. No fatalities have been reported, but several individuals have sustained minor injuries and were transported to nearby clinics for treatment.
Keep following, keep sharing. So keep following, keep sharing. This is the urgent for the fire service to come and just speed. The fire is still pulling.
That was a highlight of the devastating fire incident that occurred yesterday at the St. Paul Bridge community at the Bushra Island, leaving residents in shock and also destroyed several homes. A civil society group under the banner Youth Crime Watch Liberia has launched a massive campaign for menstrual hygiene for school-going girls across the country. Speaking at the one-day fundraising rally and official launching of the menstrual hygiene held at the ministerial complex in Congo Town, Youth Crime Watch Liberia Executive Director Master Floma reaffirmed her organization's commitment to supporting school-going girls' menstrual hygiene. According to Flomo, her organization will collaborate with other civil society organizations to champion this year's Menstrual Hygiene Day in Liberia. We sorry we can bring you that asset, but we hope to bring you that asset in our next news cast. And to this development now, former Cultural Ambassador Julie Andy has provided updates on Liberia World Expo 2025 following her participation in the World Expo 2025 in Osaka, Japan. She said for the last 1 month, Liberia has made significant strides, attracting over 800,000 visitors who have expressed explicit admiration for Liberia's cultural diversity. Ambassador Andy indicated that her team had the opportunity to showcase Liberia's potential in the tourism sector, clarified the existing opportunity provided by natural endowment, which covers the mining, forestry, agricultural, and fisheries sectors. She further noted that their representation also highlighted trade and commerce, emphasizing the need for more investments to revive the country's economy for the benefit of all Liberians.
During the last 1 month, Liberia has been actively participating in Expo 2025 in Osaka, Japan. Our participation has been marked by a huge turnout, attracting over 80,000 visitors. People who have visited our pavilion so far have shown immense interest in the uniqueness of our culture and diversity. We had the opportunity to showcase the potential of our tourism sector. We clarified the existing opportunity provided by our natural endowment, which obviously covers the mining, forestry, agriculture, fisheries sector. We also showcase sanitation as one of the key sectors that we want to promote, and education. At the expo, we also highlighted trade and commerce, shining a spotlight on improved infrastructure in the country as investment incentives for foreign direct investment in the economy. Expo 2025 is an ongoing event. Therefore, we are pleased to unveil the lineup of programs for the Republic of Liberia, underlining our representation at the prestigious event in Osaka, Japan. The date will be August 24th to August 28th. But the first date is the Women's Pavilion. The Women's Pavilion is open to Liberia to host the International Women's Forum, and where we'll be bringing women from all over the world and Liberia to discuss issues concerning women. Our theme for this year is connecting women in the global space for excellence for our inclusive society. For our focus, we will say lift her voice. One of our goals of the Women's Forum is to emphasize gender and social inclusion in our development plans as a policy instrument for fostering trade, development, culture, diplomacy, and international.
She's former culture ambassador Judy Andy. They are speaking. The representative of District 3 in Montserrat County has expressed the inability of Superintendent of Montserrat County to give account of the usage of 77,000 United States dollars paid by Firestone as Social Development Fund. Representative Sumo Mobile claimed that when Firestone Rubber Company released the fund to the Ministry of Finance and Development Planning, it was agreed by stakeholders that the fund in question be used for the construction of a youth rehabilitation center in Bentor. Speaking in an interview with this station, Representative Mobile maintained that in recent days, he has received information that the superintendent has decided to purchase a bus purposely to be transporting employees to Bentor.
Came in with the amount of 7,000, which is been allotted to our district. As it relates to the SDF, the Social Development Fund, this amount was given to the fund administration. Fund administration in turn gave it to the county head, which is the superintendent to that of the Montserrat County officials. So when they received the money, we had a meeting to see how this money can be disclosed and decentralized in the various district. And I brought a proposal that talk about the issue of the young people when it comes to drugs, because I feel that we have to fight out the issue of drugs. Brought a proposal where we could go Benton, the government land there, and start doing our foundation. So it was a discussion there, but to my almost surprise, they came out and talked about buying bus. And bus, administratively, it will help for the county, but the decentralized purpose where every constituent member would benefit. So I thought it was that boss would not do well, but with all in all, I think we were told that we were buying boss from the quote unquote to senators. But then we have gone 3 months without seeing a boss. The first thing you have to do, according to the 2018 I for local government, is to first of all do the bidding process. And throughout the bidding process, there hasn't been a bidding process. I'm not aware of one.
He's Montserrat County District 3 Representative Sumo Mora. And finally, away from home, Uganda's army has announced the suspension of all military cooperation with Germany after accusing its ambassador, Matthias Schirrer, of being involved in subversive activities and of being wholly unqualified to be in the East African state. The army did not back up its claim, but its decision signals a sharp deterioration in relations between the two nations. Rejecting the accusations, the German foreign minister's spokesperson called them absurd and without any merit, the Reuters news agency reports. The highly unusual attack on Schirrer came after he reportedly raised concerns about the Army Chief General Muhoozi Kainerugaba, who is the president's son, at a meeting last week. The Kremlin claimed Donald Trump was showing signs of emotional overload after he called Vladimir Putin absolutely crazy following Moscow's largest area assault on Ukraine. The US president said on Truth Social on Sunday that something has happened to Putin after Russia killed 13 in Ukraine with 367 drones and missiles. He has gone absolutely crazy, Trump said. Nevertheless, killing a lot of people. Dmitry Peskov, Putin's spokesperson, said the comments were connected to an emotional overload of everyone involved. Germany Chancellor Friedrich Merz, meanwhile, said that Ukraine's allies had removed all range limits on supplied arms amidst reports he will give Kiev Taurus missiles. And on that foreign development, I would like to go home on this edition of the program King's Newsroom, a 45 minutes news presentation about Liberia, Africa, and the rest of the world. But just before we go home this morning, let's remind you of stories we've been following. Independent National Commission on Human Rights chairperson accuses Chief Justice Yana Yo of undermining access to justice across the country. Councillor Dempster Brown says Chief Justice Yo's withdrawal of public defenders from various magisterial courts has increased lawlessness. Former Monrovia City Mayor and Secretary General of the CDC challenges Senator Abraham Darius Dillon to provide his academic qualifications. Jefferson Koji calls for immediate investigation, says Dillon's academic credentials lack transparency and accountability. Ministry of Justice alarm over uncleanliness of prison facilities across the country. Assistant Minister for Bureau of Corrections and Rehabilitation, Gabriel Lepella, describes the situation as serious health and safety threat to inmates. And away from Liberia, Uganda's army has announced the suspension of all military cooperation with Germany after accusing its ambassador, Matthias Schirrer, of being involved in subversive activities and of being wholly unqualified to be in the East African state. These are stories we follow here on King's Newsroom. We'd like to say many thanks to all of our reporters, correspondents, news editors who helped in making this package of sources. Better still join us this afternoon by 1 o'clock, at which time we'll be here with another intriguing and splendid edition of the program. My name is Newton Tugba. I presented this edition of the program. Thanks for listening and watching. Have a pleasant day. Bye-bye.